And now, a man with giant areolas, Mike Taylor.
Yes. Buenos tardes. They say that when you do YouTube shows, you don't have to worry about what time it is. They say you don't have to worry about giving time checks or anything like that. Although we do this show live every day, and we're live right now, but we didn't move to New York City. We are not on Eastern Standard Time Zone. Alas, we are late today, and that is not my fault. It's my fucking piece of shit neighbor's fault. So here we are. It's 11 a.m. as we do this program. If you are not watching this live, you don't care what time it is, but if you were wondering why are you starting at 11, for those of you that do tune in every morning at 10 a.m. weekdays Central Standard Time, we're on at 11 today. All apologies for being late. I did not sleep much last night. Let's just get right to it. It's Taylor. It's LG. It is Mike Taylor Live. You can subscribe to this show for free. Become a member for $6 a month. That's all you pay. It's not even close to a Netflix account or a New York Times account or whatever it is you want to account to. Spotify, too. We're on there. Share our show. Jump in here with a tip for us at you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Live. You can also jump into the chat, provided you don't get too personal. I don't get pissed off and block you or call you out and ask you to meet me in public and you block me on Twitter and decide not to do that because you're a pussy. Don't do that. I'm very violent today. Let's just get to it. So every Sunday, I like to take an afternoon nap. Let's not kid ourselves. I take naps every day, but Sundays are the most special naps because, it's been a chill day. Usually, if I don't have a lot to do, I'll take a late afternoon nap and normally wake up, take it 2 o'clock, just crash for 30 minutes. Don't even get under the covers. If I get under the covers, I'll sleep too long, and I'll feel like dog crap when I get up. Just on top of the covers and regular clothes you've been wearing, with not shoes on, but like socks. Just that way I'll sleep for 30 minutes and get that power nap and be fine. So did that yesterday. We stayed out a little bit late Saturday night, which was unorthodox and uncommon for us to stay out as late as we did. So we were chilling yesterday. And so I laid down around 3:15, took about a 45-minute nap, and got up at 4, and around 4 o'clock is when it's time to take out my dogs. Nina has 2 dogs that I call mine now. I think I can call them mine now. And I certainly love them like they're mine and have been mine for a long, long time. And got up at 4 o'clock, getting ready to take them out. They're 2 senior dogs. Both of them are over 10 years old. I think one's 11, maybe one's almost 12. I think they're 10 and 11 years old. And one particular dogo that I've got, he looks like a zombie. He looks like a goblin. He's so ugly. He's cute, and he's an old man. He's 10 or 11 years old, and he's blown out both of his ACLs. By the way, it's like a football player who's got bad knees in his old age. He's just decrepit as Chuck Howley. That's a horrible joke. Sorry. Hall of Fame was yesterday, and he's
a cute dog, though. He's a very cute dog.
He's a very sweet,
well behaved
dog.
too. Yes,
very well behaved. Loves all humans. Crazy sweet. Harms nobody. He's a dog. He just wants to hang and chill. And you can always tell a lot by a dog's demeanor. You can tell a lot about a dog's owner by a dog's demeanor, and how a dog behaves a lot of time emulates whoever owns them. That's why I've said for years that when it comes to certain breeds of dogs, I believe that you should not have a criminal felonious record and be able to have a pit bull dog or a Rottweiler or a Doberman Pinscher. If you have an aggressive dog that can be aggressive, or a protective type dog, and I have no problem with pit bull dogs, by the way. Thank you. I have no problems with pit bull dogs or big dogos. It's like having a gun. Responsible ownership. I mean, who cares who owns a Pomeranian? But if you have a pit bull or a big old dogo, big German Shepherd, you should prove that you're worthy of it. That's a controversial take, but so be it. Too many dipshits in this town that want to be all gangster bullshit. They go get a pit bull because it makes them look cool in their mind, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they raise the thing to be a piece of shit animal beast like them. Anyway. So, I've got 2 old school dogos, and they're big dogs. Well, they got a little one and a big one, and the little one's mean as hell when he needs to be. He's very protective. He's a man. He's a male dog, and he'll protect that girl that I live with till he'll die for her like any other dog would. Anyway, so they're old dogs. 2 or 3, 4 times a day we go out, we chill. They take a dump, I pick it up. They take a leak. We go inside, they get a treat, or they eat 2 meals a day, once in the morning and then one around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I take them out yesterday, my 2 dogs. I had a lot to do. I was going to take them out, take their little afternoon stroll around our apartment complex that we live in. Took them to a little designated area where half the people that live in my area take their dogs. It's grass, got trees and stuff. They go there almost every day. And it's our regular Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock routine. We go down there. They take their time. They do their business. We come home. We come back upstairs, and I feed them, and they chill out. That's it. And I sit down. I was going to take them out yesterday. Go back to my apartment, write my column for Sports Illustrated, prepare this show, do some reading. I needed to watch. I wanted to watch DeMarcus Ware's Hall of Fame speech because I was not by the channel when it was going on, so I wanted to go back and watch DeMarcus Ware's Hall of Fame speech. I wanted to see Chuck Howley's too, that his son did, and blah, blah, blah. That never happened. As soon as we got down to that little area where I take those dogs to do their business every single day, this was a massive apartment complex, and the building over from our building where our condo is where this little patch of grass and dirt and trees are, where I take them to do their stuff. And we're there minding our own business, and it's right next to one of the buildings in the complex. And the way my apartment complex is set up, there's a giant hallway that you go down to get to the different condos. Well, all of a sudden, we're sitting there, and my dog's in mid dump. I look up, and a dog, a loose dog, a big, solid, black-looking Labrador mix, comes flying around out of that long corridor. I'm like, whoa, shit. And I'm like, oh my God, and he comes around there and makes eye contact with my old man dogs, my old senior citizens, and he just immediately he's a dog, and he felt threatened, and he wasn't sure because he was loose because some fucking piece of shit let him out without a leash. He was not a stray. He lives in the complex. And he sees our dogs, and he just he just lost his fucking mind. He just beelines for my dog. Jumps on our big dog, and I'm screaming at this dog, just going ape shit, trying to scare that dog off my dog. And all of a sudden, a dude comes flying around from that little corridor area down that hallway, a young guy, probably in his 20s. Oddly enough, wearing a goddamn hoodie. Fuck wears a hoodie in 108-degree weather in the middle of the Texas summer. Some tweaker. The fuck they got living in my complex. He comes flying around, and he's just like, stop it. And I'm like, this dog's literally attacking my big dog. And I'm trying to get in the middle of it so he doesn't get my dog around with his mouth. I'm trying to stop him. And my littler dog, he's not a tiny dog. He's a medium-sized doggo, but he's tough as shit. And he's a big, wide-body dude. He jumps in to protect me and the big dog. And so that dog turns his attention to my medium-sized dog. And they bump chest, and I'm like, God. And the dude that let his dog go outside without a leash is just standing there. And I start screaming at this dude, Lawrence, get your fucking dog. Get your fucking dog. Because I'm trying to get my dog. So why don't you, I don't know, maybe get your fucking dog. I go, get your fucking dog, motherfucker. Get your dog, motherfucker. And he's like, and he starts, I look over and he's shaking like a fucking bitch, scared to death. I don't know if he was scared of me. He was too chicken shit to get his dog. He fucking freaked out. And so I just start, fuck it. And I just start kicking his dog. Just like freaking, like I'm punting a football, just boom, boom. And by the way, I fucking love dogs. So here I am now having to try to hurt another dog because of your stupid ass. Because I'm trying to save my dog's life. I'm just, boom, get the fuck up, you motherfucker. Kicking that dog. And after about 3 huge kicks, I kicked the shit out of that dog, like Ray Guy. And
you had no choice.
I had no choice at that point. And while I'm kicking, I'm yelling at my neighbor, get your fucking dog. And this kid just, he's probably been sitting.
What's the age range of this neighbor of
22, 23, little punk motherfucker. Probably thinks he's a cool hard ass. And that's a lot of time with kids that act cool. He's got this fucking hoodie. It looks like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, He probably acts all badass. But he ain't never. It's like what's that old? When the shit goes down, you better be ready. That motherfucker shook like a bitch. He was like a leaf, man. I'm surprised he didn't piss himself. I'm just begging him, get your fucking dog, motherfucker. And he didn't. He just stood there. Stop it, Charlie, or whatever the dog's name was. I don't know. He just, don't do that, Charlie. Don't do that. And I kicked this dog 3 times in the middle of this chaos. And that dog lets go. Thank God. But by that time, a second dog that came from this guy's apartment comes flying around the fucking corner. And they were matching breeds. He looked just like the first dog. So now I've got 2 dogs and a fucking pussy-ass neighbor who won't help me. Then the dog, and just when I get my little medium-sized dog away and get that fucker away, and I'm like trying to get him to run off, that other dog comes flying around to defend his buddy and jumps on my medium little doggo and gets a hold of him with his teeth.
Good Lord.
And he's just sinks his teeth in our dog's back. And I yank my dog. I'm trying to get to that dog to kick the second dog. And I yank my little doggo. And as I'm yanking him, and it sucks because I probably made it worse for my dog just trying to get him out of there. So as I'm pulling him, I pull his head because he's on a leash. I pull his head toward me. And so it exposes his hind parts to this other fucker, and this fucker just takes a bite of his ass and then gets him by the back right leg up in the real meaty part, the rump, I guess. Just gets a hold of that and just sinks into my dog. And dude, I just fucking, at this point, I'm possessed with anger. And I just crushed this dog in the face with my foot. You know, I wish I'd been wearing my boots, or I didn't even have sneakers on. I had my hand stitched Hawaiian made olukais, which didn't fly off, by the way, shockingly. And I start kicking this fucking dog. This is all a 10-second. This is 10 seconds, 15 tops. And I'm kicking the shit out of this dog, and he's not letting go because his teeth are sunk into my dog's butt. And so I just like karate kick this dog. I karate kicked this dog in the leg, you know, because it's skinny and full of bones. And I hurt that dog. He's like, "Arr!" and he jumps off. I was kicking him in the ribs and the stomach, and that wasn't doing any good. You know, those dogs are probably sore today. But in that moment, all that adrenaline's kicked in. They don't feel it. But when I nailed him in the side of his leg, that fucked him up. And so their dogs go running back. And by that time, another dude comes out of their apartment, and he's like yelling at his dogs, and they go running back to him. My other dog, the one that didn't get attacked, she freaked out, and she got away from me because I've got two dogs by leashes, and all that scrum, she got out of her leash and hightailed it. She took off. I didn't know where she went. She went running around the apartment complex in a fucking panic. And so their dogs are off. I look at my dog. He's all chewed up, and he's bleeding, and I follow the first dude in the hoodie down the corridor back to his apartment, and he went in his apartment and closed the door. And I shit you not, dude. I went to the door. I'm like, "Hey, I come out, motherfucker! Come out, you fucking pussy!" And I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
I am the one who knocks.
Bet your fucking ass. You ever fuck with the wrong guy? Yeah, I mean, I don't fight. I'm a grown ass man. I'm 48 years old. But I defend my people. I'm not some punk ass pussy who acts hard on Twitter. And you know, that's the thing. He's probably one of the. He looks like the typical dipshit that dresses like he's the shit, but lays around all day smoking pot and playing video games, and he's never been in a real fucking fight. He probably lives his life on his fucking phone, and he's not used to real life shit. And so when his dogs that he decided to let out without a leash jumped on my dog, it scared the shit out of him, and he froze like a bitch that he is. And I was pounding on the door, "Come out, motherfucker! Come out, you fucking pussy!" And then I'm in my enragement. Then I realized, fuck, my other dog is gone. I had to go find her, so I leave, and I start screaming, "I'll be back, motherfucker! I'm coming back! Get your ass out here! Let's go!" I challenged him to come out and fight me. But I went walking around the complex, and by this time, a bunch of neighbors had come running over. All these people all sopping wet because they were in the pool. They come running over, and they're like, "We saw your dog. It went that way." So and so my dog, we live on the third level of our condoplex. I'm not even sure all these fuckers even afford to live in my area. They probably get paid, probably daddy's helping their ass. So I go down, and my dog is on the lower level of my building. So she had found her way to our building, but obviously she was confused. And so I come around the corridor in my building with my beaten up dog, and I'm like, and I see her way down at the end, and she looks at me, and she's confused and scared. And I'm like, "Come here, baby, come here, come here." And she like at first hesitated. I don't know if it took her a minute she's not making sure that it was me. Maybe she thought she was in trouble. I don't know. It's just a dramatic, chaotic scene, man. And so I get my dogs on the elevator, get them upstairs, tell Nina what happened. My little medium-sized dog's just leaking fucking blood, limping, and he was so bloody we couldn't put him in the house. We had to take him straight away to the vet. So I'm so fucking pissed. And thank God Nina's like, no. I don't need to go to jail. So I call the cops, and I'll tell you the rest in a minute. This show is brought to you by the San Antonio City Soccer Club. We're still looking for sponsors. Raise your kid right. Don't raise your kid to be a pussy who decides to let his dogs roam around in public with no leash that wind up. And by the way, I'm not even sure if my dog's going to make it. I think he is, but we're not sure. He's not out of the woods. The San Antonio City Soccer Club is the official soccer club of Mike Taylor Live. We have two sponsors now, the Methodist Healthcare System and Sunburst Gymnastics have stepped up, and they are going to sponsor and put their names on two of the fields. But we've got 6 more that we need to get names for. And what you'll get is you'll get your company or your group or your organization, whose name it after somebody. You'll get field naming rights. You'll get an entrance sign, field banners. You'll get website love. You'll get love on this show on a daily basis. You just get a lot of love for stepping up and helping kids in this town. This is the biggest soccer club in town. They got over 1,500 participants. They got huge following on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and you'll get love on Mike Taylor, and Jesus will love you hard. So support some kids. It is the official soccer club of Mike Taylor Live, San Antonio City Soccer. So it's Sunday, so the people in my office are not there. I didn't know if I should call. I didn't want to, I don't know if, do I call a cop? Because do cops come out for dog fights? You know, look, dogs fight. That happens. But this was an egregious, irresponsible decision by a neighbor to just, because he's fucking lazy, and he said, they'll be fine. He's probably let some dogs out. It's probably not the first time he's let his dogs go out to take a piss without a leash. You know, I live in a giant condoplex. It's surrounded. This is actually worse to me than if we were living in a neighborhood.
Yeah, you got to get out of that apartment scene, man.
Yeah.
You got to, it's at some point, you know, you're in an apartment, you're at the mercy to all your neighbors. So you got to get out of there.
Right.
And those old doggos, they need a yard to piss
They
in,
do.
man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't disagree with you at all. And yeah, because we are in a condoplex. It's surrounded by, we're all a community. And that requires extra responsibility, extra maturity. And this dipshit, he's just lazy. He's just like, just kind of, they'll be fine. Let them run out and take a piss and they'll come back. And that seems normal. And it seems like that's not unreasonable if you have a yard or you live on a farm and there's no one around. But when you're in a giant condoplex like that with people everywhere, just the level of irresponsibility and malfeasance, it was enough to make me challenge the motherfucker to fight. Kid's half my age, probably would have beat me up if he got to swinging, but now he wouldn't. He was too pussy. And so I decided to go back down there. I needed to see what apartment number it was because I called the cops, tell her what happened, and she sent. I knew an officer was on the way, so I went back down there. I was not going to fight the kid, but I wanted to get their apartment number. I wanted him to come out so I can tell him I've called the police on you, don't leave. I wanted to scare the shit out of him, even more scared than he already was. So I go back down there, and I pound on the door, doom, 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 doom. This huge young kid, probably same age, 21, 22, answers the door, about 6'5". And I go, I think I may have the wrong apartment. He goes, no, you got the right apartment. I'm so angry at this point, LG. I'm just like, I go, well, where's the motherfucker at that let the dogs out? He goes, sir, calm down. I go, no, bullshit. I just wanted to see where you live because I've called the cops. Okay, I don't want to say the number. I go, I got you. And I had my phone out and I screenshotted his number in front of him so he could see me. And I turn my back and start walking off, and then they both come out, the big guy and the little punk bitch that let his dogs out without a leash. And the big guy's just trying to keep me calm. Because when I saw the little guy, I go, don't you come by me, motherfucker. And the big dude is like, sir, those are not even his dogs, they're mine. And I go, y'all can figure out whose fucking dogs they are when the cop gets here, because he's coming. And so I went back upstairs, and the cop came, took a report. He got my story. He filed a report, and what he told me was, he's like, were you bitten? I'm like, no, I wasn't. He's like, are you sure you weren't bitten? I'm like, no, I got blood all over me, but it's dog blood. And he's like, are you sure you didn't get nicked? I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I don't have any pain. I did not get bitten. I would have had my dog not defended me or whatever. And what the cop told me is that because I didn't get physically harmed, it's not a criminal thing. It's property. It's property on property. the neighbor's irresponsibility caused property damage. Dogs are technically your property. It's the same as if like he bumped into my car, backing out, or had he pissed on knocked my fence down. It's property. And the cop's like, I really can't do anything to him. However, I'm going to file a report. And when I told the cop what happened, the cop was like, ugh, the cop's pissed. Because we have a problem in this town with fucking assholes and their dogs. A real problem. And the cop was disgusted. Here I am this cop's wasting his time because some asshole decides to be lazy and not put his dog on a leash in an apartment complex. And the cop's like, I'm going to go talk to them. And I told him, we got to get our dog. At this point, I got to get my dog to the vet. He's in the car. I've got a blanket in the back of the car, and Nina's back there with him. And I go, okay, cool. I've calmed down enough now. And he's like, you need to call animal control, file a complaint with them. First thing in the morning, when the managers of your apartment get back here, because the place is closed on Sundays, go in there and file a complaint. Don't bother the neighbor. I'm like, yes, sir, I promise I won't, because he knew I was pissed. And that was that. So Nina writes a long email to the managers of the complex, so they'll see it this morning when they got in. Took the dog to the vet, and he's busted up pretty good. And
his dogs were at least like rabies vaccinated, right?
I don't know, Lawrence.
Oh, you don't know?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, that's the next step.
I know. That's what we're monitoring. So our old boy, they took him back there and sedated him, and we waited, and they came back out, and they said she's pretty confident that it's all just a bunch of, there's some bad ones. There's a couple of bad ones, but none of it's so deep to where she's concerned for him, living. The one on his rump, though, the one where the dog got real sunk in, that thing was thank God it was a muscular area, but it tore him open pretty deep. So she had to put him under, and she had to surgically close him back together. So he's all sutured up. So he's got a bunch of puncture wounds all over him. My concern with that is bacteria and that kind of thing. And of course, we don't know if this fucktard, if you're such a fucking irresponsible bitch that you decide to let your dog run around in public without a leash, who knows whether you got rabies vaccinations and shit. Although I will say that our apartment complex, it's a nice place, and they're pretty. As I recall, when we moved in last year, we had to it was harder to get our dogs in than us, I think. So I think you probably have to have your shots and all that kind of thing to even have a dog on your lease. So hopefully that's the case, unless he had the dogs living there without permission. So our dog had surgery, and this was 5 o'clock. They weren't done with him till midnight because they had to sedate him and then cut him open, fix all of his wounds. He's got several stitches in several different places all over his little body, all these little shave marks. He's uglier than he's ever been. Poor little thing. And then we had to wait for him to come out of sedation. And so about midnight, we picked him up, took him home. We haven't slept all night. Nina wouldn't even get in the bed. Nina stayed on the floor with him all night long. And, it's like, this is the thing that people don't realize when they make dipshit decisions to, I'm just going to let him go out without a leash. You fuck someone's life up. Because, I had to go, I went to work late. Nina didn't go to work at all today, so now Nina's got to call in. I start our show late. My dog may die. I don't think he's going to, but he's an old man. Now we got to wait and see if infection kicks in. We got to make sure his sutures heal. We got to make sure he doesn't pick at it. He's got the pinche cone looking like a goofball. He's miserable. We were up all night long. It was $1,200, by the way, to patch him up. All the medical we had last night was $1,200 and change. And so you just fuck our lives up because you're a lazy fucker and you don't put a leash on a doggo in an apartment complex. All right, and I'll carry on this story and I'll finish this up and we'll move on to football or something. Elite collision. I damn near if my neighbor were a car and I'd put a hole in him, he would have had to go to Elite Collision to get fixed. Are you the victim of a stupid son of a bitch neighbor who's a reckless asshole and doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and maybe backed into your car and it's got a dent? Sorry, Elite Collision. Go take your car and get it fixed at Elite Collision, the official collision center of Thunderdome. north of the rim off of I-10, locally owned and operated by Puro San Antonians. It is technically in Bernie. So if you go past the rim on I-10, they're right off exit 542 in Bernie. Longtime Thunderdomers. They will take all insurances, one of the best collision centers in all of the northern part of the city. It is the official collision repair company of us. It is Elite Collision. Whether you need just some generic repairs, you've had a fender bender or some hail damage, and all that stuff's probably going to need a paint job, which they do that too. It is Elite Collision. When your car gets beat, call Elite. It is Elite Collision Repair. Okay, let me finish this damn thing up, and we'll move on. So we got him at home. He's gone. He's on pain meds, and he's on antibiotics, and we're having to force it down his mouth with food. And he whimpered all night long. He was, Nina was up with him all night long, and he was uncomfortable. So we tried. He wanted to get up and move around to different spots in the house. At one point, she even took him out on the patio and just trying to find some comfort where he could try to get some sleep. Finally, he passed out on our living room sofa for a little while, and and this morning, I mean, we could tell he was starting to whimper. He had to go potty. But he was in real bad pain. And so
I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
Well, we gave him pain meds last night. And then so this morning the pain meds were wearing off, so he was hurting again. So we forced the pain meds down his throat. He's got to take a dump, I can tell. But he's so in pain that he can't even move. We're on the 3rd floor. Thank God there's an elevator. But you got to get him to the elevator, and then got to get him down, and got to get him out to the pad. And he will not go in the house. He's so trained to not go in the house. He's just suffering. Now we're worried about him. He's going to have a bladder infection or a UTI or some shit. And so we had to get him out. And so it was an ordeal. It took both of us to just kind of coax him out of he slowly he's just all beaten up, dude. He can't even put any weight on his right hind leg. Is that what you call the back leg on a dogo? Hind leg?
Sure.
And he's just all sutured up, all beaten up. He's traumatized. He's an old dude. He's got bad knees as it is. He's got a bad back because he's been through a lot in his life medically. Got him downstairs, and we're real patient with him, and he had to take his time. And he finally he dropped a couple of deuces, thank God, because maybe he's like, I better shit while I can. And took a bunch of leaks, and then we got him upstairs. And I called Lawrence and told him I'd be late to work today, and so that's why we started at 11. So where things are, this morning I went down and filed a complaint with our managers. And as it were, when I walked down into the main front place, at the front of this condoplex, when I got into the main lobby, thankfully, the regional manager just happened to be there this morning. So apparently the woman who ran our apartment complex is no longer there. I don't know I don't know if she quit or that's not my business. But so I actually wound up meeting the regional manager that's like over several, these condoplexes, and told him everything that happened. And, I'm sure he read the long email that we sent him last night, and he was pissed off, man. They were pissed. And some of the other folks that work there, a couple of them also live there. They work there, but they also live there, and they see our dogs all the time. And one of the women was just so distraught when she found out what happened to our little dude, because he's such a sweetie. It doesn't matter if he was a sweetie or not. But whatever. She was pissed off, and that guy's like, "Sir, we're going to look into this as best we can." And I'm like, "Well, I'm pissed off. Redneck Mexican kid, ain't slept all night. I'm mad." And I wasn't rude to him, but I let him know I want my $1,200 back. And he's like, "Well, you're going to have to take that up with him." So mark my fucking words, neighbor. I'm going to file a lawsuit against you. You just want to go ahead and pay me straight out? That's cool. But I'm going to sue you. I can't get the son of a bitch evicted. However, I don't want to go into too much detail, but it was brought to my attention today that what's likely going to happen is, because they violated the leash rule, they're going to remove the dogs from the lease and put the guys that live there in a conundrum. Your dogs can't live here anymore. So they're going to have to make a decision to give their dogs up, which they should, because you're clearly not responsible to own a goddamn dog. Or they're going to have to fucking move, And I'm going to file a lawsuit. We're not rich. Thank God we had enough to pay for our thing last night. But it's just, again, one stupid-ass, lazy decision, oh, they'll be fine without the leash, and it just domino affects my whole life and my girlfriend's life, you know? And it's just, and we have a real problem in this town. You know, it wasn't long ago that we had an old man literally mauled to death by some fucktards who let their dogs just get loose, irresponsible. And they even had a yard. But the dipshits that lived there, the hood rats that lived there, you know, didn't like, those dogs dug their way out. You know, these are dogs, man, you know. And I even feel bad that I had to kick the shit out of my neighbor's dogs. Here I am just like crushing a dog. You imagine, I mean, I've never kicked a dog before. You know, I freaking love dogs. And here I am just having to kick the shit out of this thing. And then like, hell, I might have fractured one of its legs, you know, just desperate to save my dog's life. All because one jackass decides that he's going to let his dogs out with no leash in an apartment complex. And honest to God, if this were the old school, if this were 2010 Taylor, it would have been a fight. But I didn't want to do that, so I'm putting my faith in the system. I know. There's the punchline, right? It's like, all right, okay. So I've filed a police report. I filed a report with animal control. I got like the generic robotic email reply today. The city of San Antonio has received your report. We'll get back. They're supposed to get back to me within a couple of days. I want these people fined, you know. And I don't feel bad if they get their dogs taken away. I mean, or at least quarantine, you know, for a couple of weeks. This dude needs to grow the fuck up. You know, we have a real problem in this town with assholes and dogs. And we have a real problem in this society with dipshit young people. Sorry, but you are. I just think, you know what? It's not fair. I don't even want to put young people under the bus on that. It's just we have a problem with a lot of dipshits who are not responsible. And that's the other thing. And I just would like to ask the guy, why didn't you help me get your dog off? You know, you put me in harm's way too, dude. Because those dogs could have come after me and, you know, mauled the shit out of my arm or leg or something because, you know, I was literally fighting with them. And you just stood there. If you're not man enough to get a dog off somebody, what the fuck are you going to do in the rest of your life when something like this happens? Which wouldn't have happened had you not been a piece of shit. So punch my fucking neighbors almost literally early this week. And so that's why we started at 11 o'clock. Okay. DeMarcus Ware's in the Hall of Fame. You know, a couple of things on DeMarcus Ware and some stuff I wanted to talk about with LG today, and we'll get out of here. But you know, DeMarcus Ware, I'm a Cowboy fan, obviously, and I like the guy, but he never felt like family. And that's great that he's in the Hall of Fame, but I didn't have those same, like, feels. Like, I had more feels when Cliff Harris got into the Hall of Fame. And, hell, Cliff Harris retired in, like, 82. I had more feels, hell, really for Chuck Halley, too. And I obviously had more feels for the triplets, Aikman and Irvin and Emmett, when they got in, because those guys were part of glory days. And
I want me some glory hole.
You don't have to have had a bunch of glory hole, but it sure helps when you go to the Hall of Fame. And I don't hate DeMarcus Ware, but guys like Ware and Romo and Jason Witten, when Witten gets into the Hall, excuse me, I'm burping on the ear, they represent that failed-ass underachievement era. The Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett era of always good, too pussy to get great. The Cowboys were like my neighbor. The Cowboys were good enough to be on their own in an apartment complex, but any little thing that went wrong, and they folded like a cheap suit. They bitched out and pissed their legs. Those Cowboys were soft under Yuck Yuck. They were good. They were talented, you know, T.O. and Romo and Witten and, you know, Flozell, the Hotel Adams, and the guys like that. They were always pretty good, you know. DeMarco Murray, you know, they always had good players, decent defenses. You know, that Cowboys, the Yuck Yuck Cowboys and the Opie Garrett Cowboys will always be the big underachievers. And DeMarcus Ware was part of that. It's not his fault. He was a damn good player. He's in the Hall of Fame. but he never felt like I never was able to like get super passionate about those guys the way I'm passionate about Aikman or even the 70s Cowboys. Shit, I've got more love in my heart for Danny White, who didn't win anything. But he won. That's not fair. He won way more playoff games than fucking Romo or Dak Prescott ever have. You know, I don't have any feels for guys like DeMarcus Ware like I have for Manu Ginobili. You know, guys that represent championships. Hell, I've got more feels for Alex Bregman than I do for DeMarcus Ware because he was on teams that put me through glory as a fan of his team. And then Ware didn't even finish up his career. I was super happy for DeMarcus when he won the Super Bowl playing next to Von Miller in Denver. That was great. So that was my take. That's my take yesterday. That's pretty cool. But it's nothing like when Jimmy got in last year, which, by the way, Jimmy's in the Hall of Fame, but not in the Ring of Honor. That's on you, old man. Stubborn bastard. My biggest memory of DeMarcus Ware was a game that I was actually at. Some of y'all might remember. I forget the year, maybe 2010. Ish. They're playing the Chargers. I think it was a Sunday night or a Monday night game. I think Sunday night game. And we all thought he broke his neck or his back. Where he hit someone, went straight down like a sack of taters, and just lay their face down. And it was, oh shit. It was one of those hits where, oh God, that was up in the head area, up in the neck area, and he ain't moving. And you just see every single member of the Cowboys medical team just go sprinting out to him. And he's laying there, and he's not moving. And there's just nothing going on. And there's just, it's just, this was at Jerry World. This was in the early days of Jerry World. So there's 90,000 of us there. And it was that quiet. It was scary. And I thought, no. I'm here watching this in person. It was awful. Arlington police they went into the bleachers. They're calling his wife over. She's just fucking sobbing. And they escort, like the cops literally went and got DeMarcus's wife and took her to the field so she could ride off on the cart with him. And he put his hand in the air as the cart was going under the tunnel, but still we're thinking, God, this kid just broke his neck or he's fractured a vertebrae or something. And it turns out it was just a real nasty stinger, thank God. And he played the next week, for God's sake. Now, he split reps. He didn't play much of the game. But in the fourth quarter, it was in New Orleans. In the fourth quarter, they put him back, and they put him in the game, and he wound up he was on the regular rotation in the fourth quarter, and he was a madman. He had a couple of sacks and a forced fumble. I think he was Defensive Player of the Week. He was just he had like one of the best games of his Cowboys career the week after he got hurt, and I thought he was just fucking done. And I was thinking about DeMarcus Ware driving to work today and Zach Martin and the current situation with the Cowboys right guard Zach Martin, the 8-time All-Pro who's holding out. I think the fines are up over $500,000 at this point because he's not showing up to camp every day. It's $50,000 a day. Zach Martin doesn't come up because he wants more money. I don't think the Cowboys are going to cave. I think Zach Martin's going to have to cave. And I just hope that this holdout winds up worth it. Damn sure won't be worth it money-wise. Unless they decide to do him a solid and rework his deal and maybe back in some of his money, give him redo his bonus somehow. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know anything about salary cap. I just know that you can finagle the salary cap. They don't want to finagle it for him. He is 32 years old, and you have to be ruthless running an NFL team. You just have to. It sucks. And they were once ruthless with DeMarcus Ware. Ware was not even farther along in his career as Zach Martin currently is, I don't believe. Ware was coming to the end of his deal. They were still pretty good, but he was going to demand $50 million and $20 million in signing bonus, which I think that's what the money looked like in those days. And the Cowboys released him. If the Cowboys will release DeMarcus Ware, they're not going to just sit up here and get punked by Zach Martin, but still, that's what makes the whole Zeke contract even more baffling. I mean, this is a franchise that benched and released Tony Romo because of Dak. This is a franchise that released Dez Bryant, still in his prime. So why the hell did you cave on Zeke Elliott? I'll never know. I don't think they're going to cave on Zach Martin. We'll see if I'm wrong. I just don't think that they are. All right, if you have an idiot neighbor who does something irresponsible and it winds up with you having a broken glass in your car, take it to my boys at R&R Auto Glass, where they take all insurances. Don't let some damn insurance company tell you where to take your car if you've had glass damage of any sort, whether it's the sunroof, front windows, back windows, whatever it might be. Don't let them tell you where to take it. Tell them I'm going to R&R Auto Glass, because they take all insurances, and they're easy to find right by the airport. They're locally owned and operated. I want to give money back to the local community. They're cheaper than all these big-ass companies based out of town, and they're fast. They'll get your car in and out of there today, and when you mention me, you get yourself a Taylor Especial. It is the official auto glass repair company of us, R&R Auto Glass. All right, I sent this to you last night. I was thinking about you, actually, because you're such a tech dude. This requires glasses, sorry. Because I saw this on Twitter. I think Nina sent me this. We're just sitting there, waiting on a dog to get out of surgery. And I think it's video of, maybe it's on TikTok, of a young woman, and I don't know what town she was in. She walks into a Whole Foods, and they ring her groceries up. And she does not pull plastic out of her purse to pay. She takes her palm and rubs it over a machine, and it scanned her palm, and that's how she paid for her fucking groceries. And I'm like, what on earth is that voodoo?
Some kind of biometrics? I mean,
dude, are you familiar with people now paying with their body parts? It's your palm.
No. I know about like the wireless, like Apple Pay, but it's just another form of biometrics. I mean, I log into my MacBook with my fingerprint, so.
I know, I do too, and I don't like it. It's weird.
I think it's less intrusive than like a retinal scan, though.
Like to go enter a building?
Like when you put your eye on something.
But see, what's weird about this, though, dude, this is tied to my money. Like my bank account now, I can wave my palm over a ray, a gamma ray, I
feel like this leaves this open for like, what if you just shoot someone and then just wave their dead hand over something? There you go. Boom, money.
So I looked this up last night. It's just Amazon's fault. Of course, it's Jeff Bezos' fault. It's called How It Works. Meet Amazon One. One scan does it all. Amazon One simplify. I feel like I'm going to fuck. This is like being in an episode of like Black Mirror. One scan does it all. Amazon One simplifies everyday interactions. It's a free contactless service that lets you use your palm to pay, enter, or identify yourself.
It's no different than the Touch ID that Apple's using, except they're using your whole hand now.
What makes it weird? Look, I don't love using my finger to turn on my MacBook. Like I'm doing it right now. Boom. Like, oh my God, it came on. But at least this is my personal MacBook. This is all my stuff. And I know the government can look at it anytime they want. I always question who's on the other end of this fucking camera here. Fuck you, motherfucker. Anyway, you motherfucker. But going into the grocery store and scanning my palm with some stranger's machine that 1,000 other people are going to scan their palm over before I go in, I don't feel like, and I was reading about this, and it's like so super secure. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't really trust Amazon with privacy.
Okay,
but
so you're with me on how weird this seems, though, right? This is too much.
I don't think it's really that weird.
See, I didn't. I was wondering what you'd say because you're a technical dude, obviously. But why aren't you? Why tell me, educate me. Why doesn't this? Why aren't you afraid of this? Help me.
It's like facial recognition software.
I don't want to be the old man scared of everything, but this is strange, man.
I mean, they already have your picture on an ID. They probably have your fingerprint somewhere. I know they have mine for sure. So, what's the difference? What's one more thing?
Yeah,
big deal.
Yeah, you're just giving up. You just decided that you're.
I've got nothing to hide.
The overlords of other planets are just gonna. You just giving it. That's funny. I joke too. I'm just ready to whatever. AI is about to run everything. Who knows if this isn't AI? How do you know I'm for real right now? I could be AI right this very second. I'm not, because you just saw spit fly out of my mouth. I'm legit.
What are we talking about?
Dude,
not that AI.
Not that AI. See, we have an AI drop mechanism now that fires off drops on its own too, based on our show talk. And see, he just fucked up AI.
Yep.
He thought we were talking about Allen Iverson. Stupid bastard.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get my knife.
Oh, he made up for it.
Always
Thank
likes
you.
to drop burp drops too for some reason.
He does, and farts. He loves burps and farts. Thank you to Hal and Shannon, who are the official sponsors and providers of the Stream Deck Elgato drop machine, which has also helped run on AI, which is insane. I thought you might have a practical response to this.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly.
Where are we going here? Where are we at in society? So my prediction in the future, when I'm an old man and I want to call one of my 4 kids, or they call me, I'm going to click a thing. And
I got 4 kids to feed.
True or false, hologram, my kids are going to show up like this tall, about 4 or 5 inches tall.
Yeah, like the Star Wars thing, yeah.
They're going to show up in hologram form to say, "Hi, Daddy, what's going on?" Is that going to happen in my lifetime?
I think it'll happen, but I don't think that'll be a mass-used form of communication. I think it'd be more like a little gimmick.
That's what they said about the cell phone in the 80s.
Yeah,
Rich
that's
guys
true.
just trying
That's
to act
true.
rich. That's
and
going
then
to go
people
away.
started carrying around,
Yeah.
briefcases that had a phone in them.
At one point, some dude was like, "I'm going to sell spring water in the store." Get the fuck out of here! No one's going to buy water. That's a fad that'll be gone in a month.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get my knife.
They said that too. All right, true or false? One day a drone's going to deliver your mail to your house.
True.
Not a person.
Yeah, true. They're already delivering packages. Amazon's already delivering
Like
packages.
in mass like that, in like neighborhoods all over the city.
I
Like
just
like
think I think
drones
it'll happen
everywhere?
for a little bit, but some people are going to start shooting them down and stealing stuff. So
Yeah, half the rednecks in this state. Get that motherfucker off my property. Propel like on Yellowstone. Jeez, dude. Yeah, you're right. Somebody's going to get liquored up and go out there and just start pea shooting at fucking drones. You know what? It wouldn't bother me none. Yeah, so if a drone shows up, go in there and get you a big old guzzle of live oak vodka, get liquored up, and get your balls about you, and go out there and shoot the drone down. But at least you'll have some good quality vodka while you're going to jail. It is Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome. They got a 91 score last year in the Ultimate Spirits Challenge. They are based in Beeville, Texas. Coastal Bend Distilling Company out of Beeville, up there near Corpus, a little bit outside of Corpus Christi to the north side. Ain't got no goddamn drones in Beeville. They got quality-ass vodka. It is the official vodka of Mike Taylor and Thunderdome. It is Live Oak Vodka.
Hutch is in here with a good idea. Those drones need to be used to come pick up trash. Because then they won't miss my trash pickup if there's a drone that flies in.
My cousin's not going to have a job, though, and he's got a record.
They need pilots. Someone's got to fly that thing.
Okay. Fly the drone. All right, I get that. That's fine. Dude, that's just one of the things. It's going to be real hard for me if I go to a store and they're like, that's the requirement to wave my palm. I might just leave the groceries sitting there and go home. I might just go to Walmart. I don't look, and I used to carry cash all the time. I don't carry cash the way that I once did. I use my debit card, but it's funny because I don't want to come off as like overly panicked here, but it's very weird to me. But there've been other things that seem weird. Electric cars seemed weird to me 10 years ago. I thought that was strange, and I'd never drive one of those. But the conservationist old hippie in me, I was raised in Cowtown, Texas.
Didn't you have a Nissan Leaf?
I did have a Leaf for a little while,
so,
and it was great. I grew up in Fort Worth, man. That's an old conservationist cowboy town, and we like fresh air. So I got used to the electric car, even though it scared me at first. I at least tried to read up on it and overcome my fear, and realize that it's actually pretty good for society. The other one though that scares me is the unmanned car. The unmanned driven car, where you just go get in your car, program Lawrence's studio, and then kick back and take
I'm not down
nap.
with that just yet.
Yeah,
I will be
okay.
one day, but
Really?
not yet. Not yet.
I just don't know how they haven't perfected it. Like, what is it going to know that? Hey, by the way, 1604 at the interchange is closed all weekend. Is it going to know that automatically? Is it just
I would
gonna go
hope
that
it's
route?
tapped into the GPS and all the traffic reporting stuff we have.
We'll see if I ever get to a time where I walk to my car and program, Love You Hard Studios and just lean my chair back and take a nap and trust that car is going to take me there, dude.
I've always thought about once that is happening, once that's a normal thing,
Yeah.
how many times are people just going to arrive? Like say grandma's coming over and then she just arrives dead because she croaked in the car.
Yeah, I mean, what if she has a heart attack?
Exactly.
A human could have saved her, driven her to the hospital, stopped and called 911, but the car's it's just going to go while she's back there choking out. It could happen. That's actually a great hypothetical that absolutely needs to be thought about before they put these things en masse on the streets of Texas. All right, I want to say muchas gracias so much to the Ringer Pub. Couple of teachers on that place. Matter of fact, we're going to have a back to school for teachers party coming up there on August the 18th. Golly, I got to start pumping that now. But on Saturday, we had a really successful raffle. I'm always scared to death that no one's going to show up to our stuff. Boy, Thunderdome showed up and packed this place. I was so pleased with the turnout. Thanks everyone that showed up on Saturday. Thank you to the Ringer Pub on Jones Maltzberger and Thousand Oaks for hosting it. Thank you to the Guardian community for entrusting us to help you run the raffle. And thank you, Thunderdome, that showed up. And there was a couple of new Thunderdomers that won some of our bigger prizes. Actually, the folks that showed up and had the food truck, Grunt's Grill, veteran owned and operated, they wound up winning the Victor Wembanyama cutout by Jones.
That was a nice cut. They won that, and they won a gift certificate to Sunburst Gymnastics
How about that?
as well.
They won two things, man. Which, by the way, Nate from Sunburst, you want a cap, bud. You got like a Love You Hard TV cap coming your way. We gave a bunch of stuff away. And a current enlisted Army lady, forget her title, it was long, something that I would never be able to handle. She won the autographed David Robinson basketball, and we gave away tons of gift certificates, a bunch of different swag, real cool backpacks, and hats and Love You Hard's gear and stuff, and a bunch of gave away tickets, passes to Sunburst Gymnastics, 3-month memberships and such. It was a great raffle, a hell of a cool turnout, and I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, if you've decided that you're ready to get out of the big city because you ain't going to be going to no store where you have to wave your palm, and maybe you're thinking about moving and you need a real estate agent, it is Hank the Realtor. I'll see. Good old Hank the Realtor from Vortex Realty, serving all of San Antonio and the surrounding areas, including the north side to Meridian, to Braunfels, and all the way down to south to Lavernia and Floresville and Castroville. It is Hank the Realtor. Maybe you're looking to downsize. Maybe you're getting a divorce. That's a real thing that a lot of people have to deal with, where you got to move, or you got a buddy that has to move, and you need a realtor now because this is going on. She was in there having sex with an AI doll, and you decided that's bad enough. By the way, sex with AI, is that cheating? So that's a philosophical topic we'll have to have again later. But whatever reason, if you're splitting up with your old lady and need a real estate agent, it is Hank the Realtor. Go get yourself a free market analysis. He'll run comps on your property and tell you what it's worth, and get yourself into the market and take advantage of a really hot market, obviously, in this area these days. It is Hank the Realtor from Vortex Realty at 300-1121. Text that number if you're watching. The number is, of course, 210-300-1121. 300-1121. Text Hank your stuff. Text him your number. He'll get back to you and run comps. And he's Poodle Thunderdome. If you need yourself a real estate agent, call Hank.
His name is Hank.
All right. I have a bit of an announcement to make here. I'm actually going hoarse. Can you tell? I need to go home. I need sleep. I've not slept since yesterday. I was in bed, but sleep was a...
Yeah, you sound like you've been yelling obscenities a lot lately.
Well, I was also screaming bloody murder at the motherfucker.
How many times did you say the word motherfucker?
A whole bunch in front of a whole bunch of kids. Well, it was started off as "get your fucking dog, get your fucking dog," and I'm like, get your dog. Then it turned into motherfucker. He went from "get your fucking dog." Then when I realized he wasn't going to get his fucking dog, it turned into "get your dog, motherfucker, get your dog, motherfucker," and then it turned into fuck you, you're a pussy. Come out here and face me, bitch. Come out here and face me, motherfucker, you fucking pussy, and then banging on their door. I didn't put that part in the police report. Right.
Watch the language, little boy.
It was awful, man. And the guy had it coming, honest to God. And younger Taylor might have handled that worse. But I'll be honest, the kid actually deserves an ass whooping. He really does. Because, again, one small, seemingly in the moment, that's cool. It's no biggie. These dogs aren't going to bite anybody. I'm just going to let them out real quick. They'll go take a piss and come back. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he anticipated was going to happen. It's probably not the first time either that the guys let this happen. But it's a time bomb, letting dogs walk around, and especially in an apartment area where there's lots of other dogs, because we have a very dog-friendly apartment complex. Did it never cross your mind that your dog might attack another dog, or your dog may get attacked by somebody else's dog, or your dog could get hit by a car? I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? He wasn't. And I'm not a violent man, but honestly, this dude deserves to have his ass kicked. Like, for real. I'm not going to do it. Because he probably doesn't have much to lose. He's a little loser bitch, shacked up with other dudes, just trying to figure out his life. Balls probably dropped last year. And I'm the dude with stuff to lose, but I'm also the dude with resources. And I want that money back. I'm not trying to get his dogs taken away. If they do, that's on him. I'm not trying to get him evicted. If they get evicted, that's on them. I'm not wishing physical harm upon them, but if something were to happen to them, I wouldn't be sad. At the very least, though, I need to get that. I mean, it's $1,200 and change to fix that dogo. And we got to go back in 2 weeks to get sutures removed, and he may have to re-up his prescription because he's an old timer. This could have long-term effects on him too. He's an old dude. I mean, he may be too scared to go back out to that same spot. He may have trauma. Seriously, it was bad. And it was scary and awful. And then my response probably scared them too, because I told you my big dog went. She hightailed it out of there. Probably scared to me because I lost my shit. And I don't know. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to say I can kick anyone's ass. I don't want to fight. I'm 48. I'll hurt my shoulder if I take a swing at somebody. But I'm not going to. I do not get bullied. I do not back down. I've always kind of had that in me, and some people have a fight or flight mechanism. I think I got the fight part, which is not good. But I'm certainly if I'm under attack, or my family, and in this case it was my dogs, I'm going to stand up for them. I'm not. And that kid just stood there, scared to death, like a bitch. Thank God I didn't get he didn't even leave. He just stood there. I mean, what are you going to do if a person's trying to come after you? You're just going to sit there and let yourself get murdered? He's like the kid that gets killed first in the horror movies. All right, I have another announcement I need to make here regarding this show and its future. But first, if you need a mortgage guy, it is Brad Hardwick, the boys at hardwickmortgage.com. If you're thinking about upgrading and wondering how much you can afford, call to get pre-qualified. It is Brad Hardwick, the official mortgage man. He's Poodle Thunderdome, waiting on you to get a hold of him. He also works in conjunction with Hank, the realtor of all people. They'll do business together, so let a couple of Thunderdomers take care of your business. If you're in the house market, call Hank, the real estate guy, and then get you some Hardwick Mortgage. They work together. They're Thunderdomers, and they've met, and they've struck up a friendship, and they work now in conjunction. Home values have gone way up over these years around this area, and maybe you just need some money. Maybe you got some equity. Use that equity and get you some money in your pocket and do whatever you need to do with it. If you're looking to buy land, Hardwick Mortgage does that too. It is Hardwick Mortgage, the official mortgage company of Thunderdome. The information is presented for informational purposes. This is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and or dates are subject to change without notice. All loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply. As a result of refinancing, your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit hardwickmortgage.com for more information. It is Hardwick Financial Services, NMLS ID 1972-012, Hardwick Mortgage. And we'll close with this. And I'm going to make a big deal about this as we go on. Starting tomorrow, right, DJ LG? I'm going to have to start staying late after work.
Yes.
Starting tomorrow, we're going to have a new show on this fledgling little network. Hosted,
well,
what do you call it? Segment?
Just additional content. I wouldn't call it a show.
Are you sure?
I call it a bit.
Okay.
Got a new bit.
Is it not going to have an intro or nothing? Just going to mean me dry?
No, it'll have production
elements.
Have a production it'll have production elements for sure.
Okay, all I know is that for 15 and a half years when I was on the radio show, one of our most popular segments that we did every day for all those years was called Taylor Trash. And many of you, since I've gone on my own to start this empire, have wondered, man, I'm digging the new show. We're supporting it. You know, we're gonna be patient with you and see how it goes. We sure miss Taylor Trash. Sure miss Mantertainment News. You know, we still have Ass Whip Tuesday, which will be tomorrow. We have People I Want to Punch Wednesday, which will be in 2 days. But Taylor Trash, and it's like I haven't been doing it during this show because it's 1 long hour plus of Taylor Trash. But no, we want some exclusive Taylor Trash material. Like today would have been a great Taylor Trash, the shit that went on today. But this was actually worth a show. So starting tomorrow, we're going to have, you want to call it a segment on its own?
Yeah, like a little standalone bit.
Yeah, standalone bit. Taylor Trash will start dropping on our channel every day at noon. Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Okay, I always screw the lingo up. So beginning tomorrow at noon and every weekday, Monday through Friday, beginning tomorrow at noon, it is Taylor Trash, which will premiere tomorrow. It is side content outside of Mike Taylor Live. It is a new, not show. Don't call it a show. We'll call it content. Starting tomorrow at noon, and I'll hype it.
We'll call it a weekly video segment.
A weekly video.
Or a daily video segment.
Daily video
Yes,
segment.
a daily
It'll
video
be
segment.
no less than like 3 minutes, but certainly, I mean, it could go 20, it could go 11, it could go 9, you know. I'm not going to mail it in. It's going to be a really,
whatever's on your mind.
yeah, it's going to be a cool
like
segment.
what Taylor's head. There you go.
Yeah, let's check. Yeah, I mean, we got Taylor's sack. Might as well take a look at my head too, or see what's inside of my head anyway. All right, so that comes down tomorrow. That is it. I got to take a nap. I got stuff to do. We're way behind. Again, think about that, Thunderdome. In the moment, one seemingly innocent, silly, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this corner. I'm going to half-ass this thing. Think about how it might impact somebody else's life before you do that. Just saying. Because our lives, it's going to take us weeks to recover from one boneheaded decision by my idiot neighbor. That's it. We're done. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Thunderdome. Thank you to DJ LG. Back in here Tuesday, mañana at 10 a.m. Back on time tomorrow for Ass Whip Tuesday. Love you hard. See you mañana.
Come back, you puppy!
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
His name is Hank.
This is a Bronx-bound